Good morning, it's Gardener Steve here. I'm sitting in the middle of my garden and I'd like to take you on a tour today. I'm always curious about what other people's gardens look like. You know, their personality is there. They've done the planning, they've done all of the work it takes to get them established. So let's go for a tour. I live in an agricultural setting, a rural setting, and hence I'm lucky enough to have quite a bit of space. So that's an example of the outside of the garden from one perspective. Yes, you'll notice there's a large fence there. That's to keep out deer and raccoons. And that's the only way I can really be successful with a lot of the different crops that I grow. Outside the perimeter, as I call it, on biofilm, you will see three squash plants that are interesting varieties, and they're well established, and I'm pleased about how they look. So come on, let's just walk over here and through the gate. I'm experimenting with a lot of different kinds of things this year. One is this new cloth, which is an insect excluding kind of cloth. Let's have a look underneath here. Just hold the cloth down with this piece of wood, and underneath here is where I've planted lettuce and Napa cabbage. And you can see there's that pomegranate crunch that we planted earlier, and the Napa cabbage is just monstrous underneath here. This keeps the flea beetles away and makes it possible to get big, beautiful plants. So they like the microclimate created on here, and of course the insects are not able to get in, and I'm finding this to be quite a successful system. I'm also using that system over in another row. Let's just walk over here. Here's a couple of other rows in biofilm. You'll see peppers right here that are, look, we've got some flowers in there. Oh, sorry about the weeds, get those out of there. All right, and if we just go down here, you can see all sorts of varieties of peppers. Those are, I think those are the red ember ones, so some nice hot ones. A zucchini plant, I only put one in, and it's in flower and fruit, as you can see. A couple of cucumbers, that's Summer Dance, and I think this is Piccolini. Okay, well, here's another tunnel that I've created with, let me just unwrap it here. Okay, if we look into the tunnel, we can see the broccoli plants in there. Can you see them down in there? They are absolutely gorgeous, and not a single cabbage looper has been able to get in here, as far as I can tell. And so that's going to produce beautiful insect-free broccoli, and you know how tricky that is. So that's broccoli down there, as well as a few cabbages. Okay, I'll just walk down this row, and then we'll run right into some of my perennial things down here. First of all, blueberries. You can see I've got the hoops ready to put up the cloth, which is going to exclude the birds that'll be really interested in having a feast in here. And the blueberries are looking really excellent. You can see there are tons of fruit in here. Excited about that. A little farther down here is my raspberry patch. Two types here. These are the regular red raspberries. Past the rhubarb. Oh yeah, I know, I have a lot of rhubarb. My neighbors love rhubarb, so do I. Some chives and perennials. And then golden raspberries, which is my first time really harvesting these. Here's a close look at the golden raspberries. I've got them supported with a little bit of wire and some stakes. That tubing is getting ready to build a support system for them, and I can show you that a little later. The perimeter fence allows me to grow sweet corn. I was never able to grow sweet corn before I put that fence up a couple of years ago. The raccoons always knew when to get that before I could. but this year I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of sweet corn. And I always plant it with an eye to where will it shade, and I give it a little bit of room so that it can grow well and not shade anything out beside it. Beside it, I have the onion patch, of course. You know I love to grow onions, and these are the little seedlings, the transplants that I've put in here, and they look well established, and I'm pleased to see that they're doing so well. Keep going down here. There's yellow onions and red onions, and then my experiment with green onions is looking really good, where I took clumps of seedlings right out of my seedling tray. I started these under lights and planted them out as clumps. I'm just going to harvest these whole clumps of green onions, scallions, in a little while, and that's excellent. Now, just let me sweep around behind me. Aha, the potato patch. Yes, and it's hilled, it's just coming into flower, and I expect that the tubers will be forming nicely underneath there. I haven't seen any potato bugs yet, so I'm happy about that. I just picked them manually to reduce damage from those rascals. Let's keep on going down the potato row. And at the end of the potato row, we're sort of made full circle here, climbing beans. So these are the pole beans here. This is emerite. I planted them right next to the fence, so they're going to grab onto that and grow, certainly 4 or 5 feet high or higher and give us beans all summer long. Over here, we have rows of beets and young carrots coming up, and peas, long row of peas supported with a bit of string, and behind them garlic, which will be probably mature in about 3 weeks. Hard to miss the asparagus fern. It's at the stage where it is starting to come into flower and produce leaves, which will store the energy to produce next year's crop. Past the peppers on biofilm, more peppers on biofilm, and then as I walk up that row, we get to the tomato crop, and I plant this in order of maturity. So the very first one here, the variety Pull Big, is in flower, and there's a little fruits in there. I think you could probably see those guys in there. So I'm expecting to see some ripe fruit in probably another 4 weeks or so from that variety. It's kind of a semi-determinate one, so I'm not really training it now. I'm allowing the different side shoots to grow, and that'll give me a bigger crop. And let's see, next to it I have Allegra, a kind of a cluster tomato for the table, producing a really nice sized fruit. I see some small fruits in there already, so that's good. And then as I continue down the row, we get to a couple of other different varieties, and then eventually to the Roma varieties, and you can see there's a fruit developing on them, and I'll just give you an overall look at the tomatoes. Well, generally that's kind of how my garden grows. Hope you enjoyed the tour, and we'll be back to see how things are going in about a month.